Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to the 8th race of Season 4 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1 here at Oswego Speedway, as we are getting set for 45 laps of racing here at, for the first time ever in this series, a dirt track. It is going to be quite interesting to see how these drivers are going to perform on a dirt track. But before we take a look at the starting lineup, we got to take a look at the point standings coming into the race today. So the top 12, Trent Dunham took the points lead over after last week at Atlanta, I believe. Anywho, second is Carson Gum, third is Joshua Sekuli, fourth Dylan Young, fifth Jay Jefferson. Sixth is our pole setter for tonight, Jessica Shelton, seventh James Qualls, eighth Charles Sandfer, ninth Dylan Poteet, and then 10th Johnny Gardner, 11th Seth Cole, and then 12th is Dylan Thoreau. And the current wildcard drivers would be James McLeod and Joshua Collard for being the highest inside the top 30 in points that are outside the top 12 in points with a win. Still plenty of time for drivers to make their way into this season's chase. But let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row is the points leader Trent Dunham and Dorian Facepuncher. Top 10, Jessica Shelton on the pole. Starting next to her is Rafael LeDuc. Row 2 is Joshua Sekuli, Dylan Jacobs. Row 3, James McLeod, Sky Commons. Row 4, Anthony McCurry, William Brock. And then row 5, Dylan Thoreau and Zach Flickinger. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1 at Oswego.
Drivers, start your engines.
All 42 cars rolling around the track for their one pace lap. Now, after doing some tests here, we could expect one of two things. Either it gets strung out, or 3 to 4 wide action in the beginning. We just got to wait and see here on this start to see what kind of tone we're going to have for the first ever dirt track race in the history of this channel. Pace car pulling into pit road. Boogity, 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 let's go racing. Great pass for the lead right there in the beginning for Joshua Sekuli. Takes the lead from Shelton. 3 wide for second. Dylan Thoreau running on the bottom. He's going to perhaps get the run. Or McLeod might in the middle, as they're kind of toe-to-toe right now. The 51 and the 6, but they are 3 wide all over. And this is kind of what the 82 wants to see, is them guys behind them race it out while he pulls away. But Dylan Thoreau is actually reeling in the 82 as here comes the 6 car approaching the back bumper. Meanwhile, battle for third. McLeod has the spot, but here comes Kyle Matthews. Kyle Matthews, who just got into the top 30 in points after last week at Atlanta, definitely wants to keep moving up in the point standings so he can try and get himself into the chase. But now here comes Tim Fiegel with the run for that spot. Back up here at the front, Dylan Thoreau now going to pull down low to try and go for the lead for himself underneath the 82 of Sekuli. Will the 6 be able to beat him to the line? It looks like he will. Dylan Thoreau led that lap, but Sekuli isn't giving up easily on the outside. Although that inside is the preferred lane right now, as meanwhile Fiegel has third. But here comes Preston Plord to try and challenge him for the spot. Zach Flickinger as well, as these guys are trying also not only race themselves, but try and reel in the top 2. Flickinger with the run on the inside of the 24 of Preston Plord. for fourth, and looks like he's gonna clear him off of 4 here. James McLeod trying to make a comeback run up here. Running underneath, and that would be for the 5th position right there. As meanwhile, Dylan Thoreau hanging on to the lead, but just barely as Sekuli's trying to reel him back in. And Tim Fiegel's been reeling in the top 2 gradually ever since he got up to 3rd. But Zach Flickinger is coming in hot as well, as it sort of turns single file up here at the front of the field. Might change, because here comes the 8 of Fiegel for a run for 2nd underneath the 82, and that's going to help the 6 of Dylan Thoreau pull away for just the time being. And the caution is out, and we got a wreck going on. DJ Curtis and Phil Parker get involved, and John Cittadino gets damage. Carson Gum, who was top 2 in points, he was involved. Oh man, these guys better slow down to keep from running over these guys. Careful, everyone. DJ Curtis doing the smart decision to pull down low to the very bottom of the racetrack to avoid hitting anybody. But Dylan Thoreau currently is your race leader. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Oswego. Well, this wreck begins all the way back here in turns 3 and 4, and it's going to be contact right here. It looks like Emmanuel Hartnett tried to get in line behind DJ Curtis, but wasn't quite clear and gets into the 4, who comes down into the 19. Oh my god, the 19 had a horrible crash right there. Paul Mennick did a great job of saving his car, but right there, Phil Parker gets into the 4 after the 4 comes back up the racetrack. And it was only them 2, and then you see the 09 start to turn down, and you're going to see Cittadino right there get into him, and Cittadino gets a little bit of front end damage as a result. But we got to look at what happened with the 19 of Carson Gum. He had the worst part of this wreck, and he was just an innocent bystander. Is right here, he's going to get hit by both the 20 and the 4. The 4 hit hard, but right there, the 19 hit the hardest. Driver's side first into the concrete wall and the tire wall, and it basically grabbed his car and forced him to get stuck right there, pretty much ruining his night. So there went any shot Carson Gum had of trying to retake the points lead. But we're going to go ahead and take you to the restart here at Oswego. Well, 2 cars are done for the night as expected, and they are DJ Curtis and Carson Gum, so tough night for both of them, as we just got the signal for 1 to go. But Dylan Thoreau currently is your race leader. 2nd is Tim Fiegel. 3rd, Joshua Sekuli. 4th, Zach Flickinger. 5th, James McLeod. 6th, Kyle Matthews. 7th, Jake Rogers. 8th, Preston Plord. 9th, Alex Ferranti. 10th is Anthony McCurry. 11th is Johnny Gardner. 12th, Jessica Shelton. 13th, Joshua Collard. 14th, Dylan Jacobs. 15th, James Qualls. 16th, Sky Commons. 17th, Chris Stollerton. 18th, Rafael Leduc. 19th, Sean Galligan. 20th, Charles Sanford. Green flag is back out here at Oswego. It looked like the 8 was able to get a little bit of a better restart than the 6. He might try and go for the lead here in 3 and 4. And here he comes. He's got the run on the bottom now. Tim Fiegel with a great restart is going to make it pay off with a pass for the lead right there. But did he lead that lap? Yes, he did. He did lead that lap, and now he might be able to clear him once we get into turn 3 here. And he does clear him. And now, because the 8 has cleared the 6, that brings up the 49 and the 82 back up to the back bumper of the 6. Flickinger actually got around Sekuli during that restart, and now Flickinger up to 3rd. Dylan Thoreau may have lost the lead, but he isn't going to give up that easily. He's trying to reel back in the 8 car. The margin shrunk just a touch, as Flickinger is also trying to find a way around for 2nd underneath the 6, and now he's got to run, trying to run a lower lane than the 6. He might be able to get it to pay off here in 1 and 2, and here he comes with the run for 2nd. Not only will Flickinger have a run for second, but if he can keep this momentum up of running on the bottom, he might be able to catch Tim Fiegel for the lead. Flickinger does officially clear the 6 of Dylan Thoreau, and now he has his sights set on trying to take the lead from Tim Fiegel. As meanwhile, back here, battle for 4th has been going on, and James McLeod clears Joshua Sekuli for that spot. Meanwhile, we got the challenge for the lead. Here comes Flickinger with the run on the inside. And he's not quite clear yet. He might be able to get clear off of turn 4. And he does clear him. New leader, Zach Flickinger. But Tim Fiegel not going to give up that easily. He's going to try and reel him back in. And he's got the run again on the bottom. Good back and forth battle for the lead between these 3 drivers right up here. Fiegel, Flickinger, and Thoreau. Fiegel trying to retake that spot. He's got the run on the inside to make it happen. And barely led at the line. Imagine if that was the finish. That would have been amazing. Fiegel's still running the bottom, and will he be able to clear him? Looks like he will. And that brings Dylan Thoreau back up here to try and reel back in the 49. 3 wide back here, and it looks like right here this is for the 9th position. Chris Dollerton trying to clear Johnny Gardner and Preston Plord for that spot. But Gardner's got a run, trying to work a run on the bottom underneath the 22, but doesn't quite make it work right there. Trying to get back up here at the front of the field. Fiegel still hanging on to that spot. Flickinger maybe trying to work a new way to get around the 8 once again, as he is still within reach. Margin did grow a little bit, but Flickinger's still keeping pace with the 8 car. Trying to run a lower line to get some more air on the front grille so he can try and get a cleaner run. And now he's starting to get that to work as he's got the run on the bottom once again. Man, these 2 are putting on quite a show for the fans and for the people watching this. Flickinger running an even lower lane to try and get clear. And he does clear the 8 car for that spot. New leader once again being Zach Flickinger. Oh, but Fiegel, he's trying to make a comeback as these 2 are not going to give this spot up. After all, this is an historical race, the first ever dirt track race in the history of this channel. Dylan Thoreau either is just not fast enough to get up to the back bumpers of the 8 or the 49, or he might be waiting to time his move. As Fiegel is still trying to work her way around the 49, but still just not able to get it quite right just yet. But now he's going to get the run as he had the bumper to the bottom. Can he make it work here in 3 and 4? Oh, he is there. He is there on the bottom as they're side by side once again. Flickinger still led that lap as it's now under 14 laps to go as this race has just been zipping along ever since we got back to green flag racing. And Fiegel now clears Flickinger to retake the lead. Meanwhile, Dylan Thoreau's been falling back quite a good bit, and that's helped to bring James McLeod up to his back bumper, so we could have a battle for 3rd ensue. And Alex Ferrante's been catching them as it's side by side for 3rd. And Flickinger trying to get to the side of the 8 of Tim Fiegel once again to try and take the lead back. As meanwhile, McLeod, he's going to try and take 3rd away from the 6 of Dylan Thoreau. Can he clear him is the question. As meanwhile, Flickinger clears Fiegel once again to take the lead back. And McLeod does clear the 6 of Thoreau for 3rd. Now, does McLeod have anything for the top 2 as he's been working his way up through the field 1 position at a time? Does he have something for the 8 and the 49? As meanwhile, the 8 and the 49 just continue to race it out as it's 10 laps to go. And you can definitely tell the 51 has been catching the top 2. but he's also having to try and keep the 6 car of Dylan Thoreau behind him, as the 6 is not going to give up that spot. And now Thoreau's going to have a run to the bottom, perhaps. So they're side by side once again for third. As meanwhile, Fiegel may be trying to do the same game plan that he's been doing ever since he fell back to second. Is do exactly what Dylan Thoreau has just done. Go to the bottom, get along to the side of the car he's trying to go by, and try and clear him within a lap or two. And Thoreau retakes third. Fiegel still hanging on the back bumper of the 49. But now he's going to get that run on the bottom to stick. Can he get there in time here in 1 and 2? Not quite that time, but he's still within that limitation. But Flickinger is still hanging on strong right now. Meanwhile, McLeod with a huge run to try and get to third once again. As meanwhile, Fiegel might have used his stuff up a little bit. He just lost a whole 1/10 of a second on that last lap. Perhaps Fiegel just used up too much of his race car to try and get back to the lead. And Flickinger trying to do all he can to hold off the 8 car as 5 laps to go here at Oswego for the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1. Also trying to look ahead and see if they may have to deal with lap cars, and I don't think they will in time. So I think it's going to be a clean racetrack for the 49. As the margin continues to grow just a little bit between the top 2. Meanwhile, back here we might have a fight for the 5th position ensue. Alex Ferranti has the spot, but Jake Rogers wants it. And now Rogers trying to utilize a lower line to go for that move, and also they're reeling in the 6 of Dylan Thoreau as well, so this could turn into perhaps a 3-car fight for 4th, or even 3rd if Thoreau continues to race McLeod as he's been doing. 2 laps to go for Zach Flickinger, and he's still pulling away little by little over the 8 of Tim Fiegel. Yeah, I'm thinking Fiegel used up too much of his race car, and now he's losing time to the 49. As the white flag is displayed, white flag is out here at Oswego. Zach Flickinger, all he's got to do is just keep his car clean, and he's home free. Coming out of turn number 4 for his first win of the season, and history made, Zach Flickinger wins the NAPA Auto Parts Challenge Part 1 at Oswego Speedway for the first ever dirt race on this channel. History has been made, and what a race it was. And Zach Flickinger, like I said, has just made history. What a performance, and that's the first win ever for that race team of NOS Energy Racing, so that was great for them. But let's look at the rest of the results. Tim Fiegel was going back and forth for the spot, but in the end just used up too much of his race car to try and reel him back in, but still gets a great run in the 2nd position. James McLeod, his best finish since winning the Daytona 500, finishes out in 3rd. Dylan Thoreau with a solid run in the 4th position, and then the highest finishing rookie, Alex Ferranti, in just his 2nd start, finishes in 5th. Jake Rogers with a solid run in the 6th position. Chris Daugherty, great run in 7th. Sean Galligan finishes out 8th. Joshua Sekuli with a great run at 9th, and then rounding out the top 10 with a solid run in 10th was Dougie Shears. Rest of the top 20 was Anthony McCrory, Kyle Matthews, Emmanuel Hartnett, Preston Plore, Joshua Collard, James Qualls, Charles Sanford, Johnny Gardner, Dylan Poteet, Matt McIntyre. Rest of the top 30 was Sky Commons, Jessica Sheldon, William Brock, Rafael Leduc, Jay Jefferson, Zachary Fitzwater, Dylan Jacobs, Patrick Smith, Pichu London, and James Shelley. And then the rest of the cars that finished were Seth Cole, Matt Haas, Dylan Young, Dorian Facepuncher, Alex Drayton, Alex Gray, Paul Minnick, Trent Dunham, John Cittadino and Phil Parker, and the only 2 cars out of the race after our only caution was DJ Curtis and Carson Gum. Well, that does it for our coverage for the first ever dirt race on this channel, the Napa Auto Parts Challenge Part 1. Part 2 will take place later on in the season. But the next race we go to will be Texas Motor Speedway, the next track. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Texas. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.